Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Markets to Watch from Smack the Markets for the 1st of June. So traders coming back to their trading desks after the holiday weekend. Question is, are the US equity markets going to achieve all-time highs this week? Gold and precious metals going to continue their bull run? Is the dollar going to continue to sing? So let's just take a look at a few markets here and some of the opportunities that we're looking at going into the beginning of the week. So if we have a look at the US equity markets first of all, all of these equity markets, so the S&Ps, the Dow, the NASDAQ, they've all had significant retracements recently. Now those retracements have actually just brought the market back into fair value areas. If we look at this on the weekly, you can see that every time the market's come back into these zones, it's found support and the market sort of moved on. Now the Dow looks, the trend here still looks intact. It still looks sort of very bullish, and even if we start to come down the time frames and take a look at this on the daily time frame, again we can start to see that we've got convergence on the indicators as the market's now starting to put in a double bottom and start to rally up, maybe pushing up towards that 35,000 high level. So our technique here for the Dow is to look for pullbacks into value areas and look for time frames where we've got constructive tradable trends. We'd have a quick look at the other equity markets. Have a look at the S&Ps here. Again, you can see very similar here to the Dow, looking extremely sort of bullish. No real reason for anything against these markets at the moment, as long as the bullish momentum continues. Having said that, if we take a look at the NASDAQ out of the three looks slightly, it still looks bullish to me, but still slightly not as strong as the other two. So our preference is the S&Ps and the Dow. If we take a look at the NASDAQ, you can see that we've got this sort of double top sort of formation here, and we've had sort of divergence, and that divergence still starting to creep in here on these higher time frames, just indicating that the momentum is starting to weaken here. Now these markets may well continue. We may see 14,000 on the NASDAQ, but the sort of signs here are that these technical structures from a technical perspective are looking a little bit more challenging on the NASDAQ, I think, compared to the other two. Still like this if this can sort of break to the high side, and I think if we see the market sort of take out this sort of these highs, which is also sort of pegged by these previous sort of lows as well, so there's certainly a bit of structure above price at the moment. If we can get above there, then it doesn't look an awful lot in the way for that 14,000 to be retested on the NASDAQ anyway. Coming over to precious metals, well, metals across the board are looking again rather strong. Still like in silver, silver's up against a little bit of a level at the moment around 28.5. Again, if this can move higher, it's still looking sort of rather nice. My preference at the moment here is copper though, because the price structure and the technical structure is just looking a little bit more readable and a little bit less advanced. If we take a look at this on the weekly chart, you can see that the market has recently had a pullback into 4,500. We had that advance from there, and again the question is, this week we're going to continue to move higher, or is this actually going to continue to move down? In fact, we could start to see a bit of a pause generating here, and you can see that starting to form at the moment here on the sort of daily time frame and the 4-hour time frame. If we just take a look at this on the 4-hour, we've got a bit of a level here around 4,700. It's more of a zone of previous support and resistance. Having said that, the 4-hour time frame looking rather nice here on the trend structure. We've got higher highs, higher lows. The indicators looking bullish as well. If the market can get above 4,700, then I think we could see 4,800 fairly quickly. So it doesn't look an awful lot in the way to get up to that 4,800. So this one's on my watch list this morning and early trade this week. If we get above here, then may well look for opportunities for pullbacks and look for that 4,800 to be tested. If this actually sort of rolls over and we start to break these lows, then we could be going into a bit of a sideways range. There is key support around 4,500, so it could be into a bit of a range until we get up enough momentum to get through that area. So coming over to the currency markets this morning, one that caught my eye was the Kiwi yen. Now, a lot of the strengths and weaknesses are not in alignment for trend structures at the moment. So it's quite changeable as the European traders coming back into their offices or back to their trading desks this morning. But Kiwi against the yen has sort of been consolidating rather sideways for a while now, and sort of putting in this sort of nice sideways consolidation, as you can see here on the 4-hour time frame. From the sort of bigger picture here, if we have a look at this on the weekly time frame, you can see that we have got a bit of a level here, a zone I would call it, around that sort of 80 price point. So there's been sort of previous support and resistance around here. It's a bit of a significant sort of milestone and level for this market anyway. But again, if we can get above here, then looks like we could be seeing possibly 82 sort of fairly easily. Not a lot in the way of resistance up towards that sort of 82 price point. So again, if we come down to the lower time frames and take a look at this on the 4-hour time frame, we have got this sort of zone that's sort of forming here, this sideways zone, and this is a 4-hour time frame, so you can imagine what this looks like on the lower time frames. It's sort of quite a tight sort of consolidation. Now at the moment the indicators are sort of indicating that we could be in this sort of sideways zone for a while, and again, strengths and weaknesses at the moment in early trade on Tuesday is that these are both sort of weak markets. So until that sort of changes, and if we do see some strength coming into that Kiwi and a breakout to the long side, then that could be a sort of an intraday opportunities up there to test that 80, and then I'd look for the market to be above 80 and maybe some sort of pullback before looking at moves up towards that sort of 82 price point. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on going into the beginning of this week. I certainly hope it helps, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.